Hey everyone, today I wanted to talk about the 2021 horror movie Censor. I wanted to give a quick review and my recommendation to this movie because I had missed it last year. It was one that I wanted to watch and I kind of held off on it. And now it is possibly even my favorite movie from last year. It's definitely in the top few. All of my favorite movies last year were horror. Where this one falls, I'm not exactly sure among those top four, but it may be first because I loved it so much. So I'm going to talk about the movie, but I'm not going to give away any spoilers. I'll just kind of give any information that the trailer does. And I actually don't even recommend watching the. Well, I mean, I watched the trailer, but I watched it so long ago. It was just like a movie that I kept in my thoughts for a long time and was like, okay, I'm going to watch it now. If you had paid attention to a video I did last week, I have been watching a bunch of like horror movies just kind of in my free time. And then at the end of the year, I split it in two. I already did January through June, and now I'm going to do July through December. And this will be in that second half. But I have been doing that where I've been just watching horror movies that maybe I've wanted to check out or based off of like recommendations or just popular horror movies that I've never seen. And this was one of the ones that I wanted to check out, and I finally did. And I just immediately wanted to talk about it. I've watched it twice, I bought it. And if you're into like British psychological horror, like I am, this will definitely probably work for you like it did for me. It's not very long. I think it's like 84 minutes. And then the actual Blu-ray is fairly cheap. I got it for, I want to say, no, I got it on sale. So I think it was like $15, and it's from the company Vinegar Syndrome did it. And I'll go through everything and show you what comes with it. I didn't get like the slipcover or anything, but if you get it, I think directly from Vinegar Syndrome, you can get that. I just got it off Amazon and I didn't know until afterwards. But so this movie is about a girl, Enid, and she is on the board of censorship for movies in England during the 1980s. And this movie has a very 80s feel to it, which I think definitely helps it out. And so during that time, there were a lot of movies that were being distributed illegally. I think they were called video nasties. And basically, they're very brutal, like low budget horror or just like just gory movies. And so they thought that the government thought that it had an influence on the population and the increase in violence and the increase in unemployment. But the girl Enid, she takes her job very seriously, and she pretty much anything that she feels is going to have a negative influence on anyone, especially children, she wants to cut it. And at one point, she watches a movie that seems to kind of trigger something related to her past. And she has this sister that had gone missing that she had kind of not given up hope on, that she might still be alive. She sees someone in this movie that she thinks is her sister. And so she kind of goes on this search for her lost sister. And so this kind of turns into like a psychological horror, and it starts off where it shows like some of the gory stuff, and then we kind of get into the more psychological stuff, and then we kind of mix the two at the end. And it's, I think, really good. I don't want to tell you too much, like I said, just because I went into it kind of blind. I pretty much just told you everything I knew, where it was, she was censoring movies, and I don't want to tell you like anything else really, because I went into it and I was just like, wow, this is really good. Not everyone might have that same opinion as me. I have a very different taste in horror. I like a lot of psychological movies, and British psychological horror seems to be the one that connects with me the most. One, for example, Ghost Stories, that came out a few years ago. That one is one of my favorite horror movies, and now this one might be in my top. It might not be like my top 10, but it's definitely, I would say, in top 20. I really like this movie, and I think the director really kind of hit exactly what I want from a movie. There's, other than one specific part that's only like 3 seconds that felt out of place, it's towards the end, and you'll probably know it when you get to it. This whole movie is like really feels perfect to me. I can't remember the director's name. I'll see it here on the back. wish it would just say director directed by, but it's also so the letters are so small. But you can find that out if you're really interested. But this was her first time directing a movie, and she got inspiration from a short film. I don't remember or not if it was hers, but it's very similar premise, and I think that it definitely is like a if you can find that short. I don't remember what that one's called, but you just type in short film of hers, you'll definitely find it, and it's pretty interesting. You definitely see the inspiration where this movie came from. This is more of a long, drawn out version of that, or it's not even long. Like I said, it's 84 minutes, but it's a not short film version. It's a full length, and I think it definitely works. Now, I'll show you everything that this comes with. So this is like the inside. If you take out the disc, you can also there's like an alternate cover. It's the same, but I thought was really cool. So they made up some movies in this little book that it comes with. In the movie, they have these like made up movies, but I'm pretty sure that they're inspired by real movies. So it comes with this kind of like brief thing here. I didn't read all of it, but I think that this one on the right is the kind of story of. Okay, so the one character's name is Alice Lee. So this is her, like, I don't know, whatever it's called, like, whenever you say resume for acting is on the right here. And then it shows kind of like a biography of what Video Nasties were. And then you get some of these kind of posters for the movie that you see, or the movies that you see in there. The Beast Man actually plays a part in the movie. I'm not sure exactly what movie that would be based off of. Asunder looks pretty interesting if this was a real movie. It's something to do with zombies, but it looks pretty good. Like the brief moment that you see. This one's more something from another character. Cannibal Carnage, I would almost be willing to say that this could be Cannibal Holocaust. I don't know for sure, but this one, it's called Evil Dad. It's obviously Evil Dead, and there's a lot of well, maybe not a lot, but enough inspiration from Evil Dead. You can see it towards the end. There's some scenes that take place in a cabin, and you're like, that's definitely taken from the Evil Dead. And then this one would be a movie that I hope that is very similar to a real movie, because I'd love to watch it. The brief few like shots that you get, it's called Driller Thriller, and it's like a slasher with a guy who uses a drill to kill people, and like you sit down, or she sits down and watches these movies, and I'm like, man, these movies look just as good as the movie that I'm watching. So yeah, I can't recommend this movie enough. I think it's really good, and if you're into that kind of like British psychological horror where it's like this, even though it's not long, it's slow and drawn out for a little bit, and then towards the end the pacing kind of picks up, and then you kind of get this like crazy ending that I thought was really well done. This may be one you have to watch like a ending explanation for. I've watched two of them and I understood it, but I wanted to make sure I understood it correctly. But the ending is definitely got some shots in it that are really interesting. So it's one that even if you feel like you do understand it, I feel like you should watch the ending explanation, because you might miss something like I did. There was a tiny, like, it's only like a second or two it's on screen, but it comes to play like it's in like halfway through the movie, and then at the end it comes back, and I was like, oh, I didn't even think of that. So yeah, I can't recommend this one enough. Where it would fall, like I said, from last year's movies, it's in the top 5 for sure, but it's definitely in the top 4. I just don't know if it's 1, 2, 3, or 4. The other ones, The Night House was my favorite. Second was Antlers, and then third was Candyman. I would probably say, honestly, just because The Night House is longer, this is an easier watch, so this might be my favorite. I really like this one. So if you've seen it, let me know what you guys think. And if you do watch it based off of my recommendation, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Even if you don't like it, that's fine. I just, wanted to talk about this movie because I loved it so much. So thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya.